After the Pokemon TCG fell into the dark ages with the dreadful VMAX era with boring card design and horrible gameplay, VSTAR Pokemon came to rescue us, led by Arceus VSTAR and its Starbirth ability in the Brilliant Star set. Afterwards, we got more and more powerful VSTARs such as Palkia, Dialga, Goodra, Giratina, and culminating with Lugia, which dominated and centralized the metagame around it for a good 6 months. Back then, it was play Lugia or hard counter Lugia, there was no in between. Since then though, we've had 2 format rotations where VSTAR Pokemon have continued to enjoy various degrees of success, but they are once again sitting at the very top of today's metagame, following new and powerful additions as more and more sets have come out. Whenever the next rotation happens, VSTAR Pokemon will be heading out the exit door next, but they are enjoying a lot of success right now, and so it's important to know the strengths and weaknesses of each deck and how they played out against the other top decks in the format. The 3 VSTARs that dominate the metagame include Lugia, Palkia, and Regidrago. Don't forget that you can watch videos 24 hours earlier if you become a channel member by following the link in the description below. This kind of support helps me continue to create content like this, so please consider becoming a channel member if you enjoy the content. Lugia is a familiar foe for many, and it feels like it really had some sort of rebirth with Stellar Crown. The deck depends on being able to discard Archeops early on to then bring them into play with the Summoning Star ability. In order to do this, the deck features a wide variety of options, starting with Quackability X's Quack and Z's ability, which discards your whole hand and draws you a fresh set of 6, but this ability can only be used on your first turn. In some lucky instances, you might already have 1 or 2 Archeops in your hand naturally. However, you most likely need to utilize one of the Pokemon searching cards such as Mesagoza, Ultra Ball, Capturing Aroma, or Great Ball, or in case you're going second, Jack. The next option is comboing any of these Pokemon search cards with Ultra Ball itself, since it requires a discard of 2 before you can search. That can be how you can discard any Archeops you already have in your hand. Choosing the order in which you play Capturing Aroma, Great Ball, and Mesagoza can sometimes be key in maximizing your chances to discard both Archeops, so make sure you analyze each situation. Sometimes it will be correct to play Great Ball before Capturing Aroma, and other times it'll be the opposite. Once you have fulfilled this requirement though, the deck becomes an amazing powerhouse featuring some of the most powerful cards in the game right now. Cinccino is the star of the show, being a single price Pokemon that can reliably 1-KO any Pokemon with special role with enough special energy attached, and getting 5 onto it is easily achieved by having both Archeops use Primal Turbo and your attachment for turn. Lugia VSTAR itself is a very good attacker with high HP and doing 220 damage, which is enough to take down most of the relevant basic Pokemon in the current metagame these days, but does come up short against some key Pokemon EXs such as Raging Bolt or Terrapagos. Next is Iron Hands EX, which punishes single price Pokemon such as Charmander, Dreepy, Pidgey, and many others with Amp You Very Much, handing Lugia players an extra prize card. The Lightning typing also gives it a unique type advantage over common support Pokemon like Squawkabilly EX and Luminion V, as well as Palkia V and Lugia V, all of which end up being worth 3 prizes instead of 2. If you're able to pull off this maneuver, it is usually game ending. And to add insult to injury, Iron Hands EX is powered up by Legacy Energy, which reduces by 1 the amount of prize cards you take if you KO the Pokemon that is attached to with damage. So even if you deal with Iron Hands EX, you will get less prize cards than you normally would. The next is Weirder V, which is similar to Cinccino in the unlimited damage aspect, but trades off being a basic for a much worse damage multiplier of 40 instead of 70. This is still usually worth doing for a big 1-hit KO that will severely damage your opponent's board by taking down their only or main attacker. Finally, we have Blood Moon or Saloon EX, which is a great Pokemon to close out games when you are running low on energy, as thanks to its Season Skill ability, its Blood Moon attack takes less and less energy each time your opponent takes a KO. An optional and way less common attacker is Wellspring Ogerpon EX, which fulfills a similar role to Iron Hands EX in taking 2 prizes against a low HP basic Pokemon. However, it does so by taking down 2 Pokemon instead of just 1, which can be much more impactful if you manage to take down 2 Charmander, or 2 Dreepy, or even 2 Hoothoot for example. However, with Manaphy protecting benches, this card has not seen a lot of play, but it can catch some people off guard who assume their opponents aren't playing it. With the wide array of attackers, this deck is benefited from using all the powerful special energy available in the format. Gift Energy provides extra consistency for the deck and protection against disruption cards such as Iono or Unfirst Stamp. Mist Energy protects from effects such as Roaring Moon, Frenzied Gouging, or Dragapult's damage counters from Phantom Dive. B-Guard helps reduce damage from attacks from opposing VSTAR Pokemon such as Regidrago VSTAR, Palkia VSTAR, and the mirror matches. And double turbo energy helps power up the heavy attack cost in a much more efficient way, and jet energy makes sure we have the right Pokemon up front, as well as providing protection from stalling strategies like Snorlax and Pidgeot control. And finally, we have Legacy Energy, the ace pick of choice 100% of the time for Lugia players, as it opens up Iron Thorns as an attacker, as well as helping mess with an opponent's price map at any given time with the price reduction effect. We've seen many top players choose this deck and use it with great success, most notably Kieran Farah and Yerk Valencia amongst others. And while there are many takes on the list, such as a 1/1 Cinccino line all the way up to a 3/3 line, Raikou V, Basic Lightning, Carmine, and others, the broken combination of Lugia VSTAR and Archeops remains just as powerful as back when it first took over the Pokemon TCG when Silver Tempest came out and we saw Tord Reklev win his 4th international championship at LAIC in Brazil. The next VSTAR Pokemon that has been making waves in the Pokemon TCG is Palkia VSTAR. Whilst it dominated the game when it first came out and was public enemy number 1 during the 2022 season in the biggest events at NAIC and Worlds, it has been a long time since Palkia VSTAR became an actual threat, but Dusknoir from Shrouded Fable has brought new life to it and it is now a major threat in today's metagame. Palkia VSTAR's soft space swell attack does more damage depending on the size of both players' bench. The metagame right now consists of decks that want to have big benches most of the time, filled with backup attackers and powerful support Pokemon, meaning it's a win-win for Palkia. If an opponent limits their bench to reduce your damage output, they might miss out on benching some key or useful Pokemon. And if they don't play around it, then you will be doing up to 260 damage. Unfortunately for Palkia though, the HPs of the most powerful threats in the metagame are above that, and that is where Dusknoir has come in to help it get to key numbers. Meaning that even if an opponent plays a low bench, those 13 extra damage counters from Curse Blast go a long way in allowing Palkia to take a KO on anything in the game right now. Palkia's Star Portal ability is also very powerful, though by being able to attach 3 energy from the discard to any water Pokemon in any way you like. Not only can Palkia power up itself even if you don't have any energy in play to start attacking, it combines perfectly with Radiant Greninja and Greninja EX by attaching energy to the water type throw key before evolving to allow for powerful bench sniping attacks out of the blue. This combination has always been powerful and threatening to many decks, but it was usually kept in check by playing Manaphy. However, Dusknoir's Curse Blast comes back again to save the day, as you can use it to KO an opponent's Manaphy to open up the way for either Greninja card to wreak havoc on your opponent's bench Pokemon. This strategy is so powerful and devastating that most evolution decks like Charizard and Dragapult are not even bothering to run Manaphy at all anymore, since it's very likely to be sniped anyway. And to top it off, even basic Vs or EXs aren't safe, as with a double Dusknoir play, you could combine that with the bench snipe attacks in order to take 4 prizes in a single turn. 13 damage counters plus 90 damage is 220 total, the perfect number to 1 KO 2 Regidragos or 2 Palkias or 2 Lugias. And it gets better if you attack supporting Pokemon with lower HP like Fezandipiti, Luminion, or Squawkabilly. The engine relies on Iono, as a lot of the time you will be giving an opponent prize cards yourself, so continually reducing their hand is crucial. And Irida is a staple in Palkia decks to find the right water evolution or basic Pokemon, as well as any item necessary for all the combo plays possible. With a huge amount of supporting Pokemon helping the deck set up and find key pieces, while at the same time powering up Palkia's attack by having a bigger bench and being able to benefit from Pokestop's discard with Star Portal recovering energy and Night Stretcher getting back Pokemon, this deck has proven to be a very powerful contender, but it hasn't been able to bring home a win. Its 2 highest placements have been top 4 at Dortmund and Louisville with very similar lists. Will this deck be able to reach a big win before VSTAR Pokemon rotate out of the format? It wasn't able to in Lille, but there are still plenty of major events to get this deck a win before rotation. And finally, we have Regidrago VSTAR, which didn't have a peak era like Lugia or Palkia did, as it came out in the same Silver Tempest set as Lugia, and it didn't have anywhere near the same available cast of powerful Dragon-type Pokemon and discarding effects that exist now in order to support it. The first versions of this deck back when it was released played the very weak Gardenia's Vigor, which at first people deemed a welder-like card, but it was just pure bulk in the end. However, when Twilight Masquerade came out, Regidrago finally got its time to shine thanks to Dragapult EX. This formidable Pokemon is powerful as a standalone deck, but it is arguably even more consistent in Regidrago decks, as getting out a stage 1 is easier than a stage 2. This is only possible though thanks to Tealmask Ogre X fueling the deck and transferring energy thanks to Energy Switch onto Regidrago for the perfect combination. It really was Tealmask Ogre and Dragapult that brought Regidrago to the scene, though it admittedly took a while for people to realize the deck's true strength. Without Tealmask Ogre, powering up 3 specific energy was almost unthinkable for Regidrago, and it's what made it take so long to actually become a viable deck. However, the new energy acceleration, plus Dragapult's formidable attack, combined perfectly with Giratina VSTAR and Kudra VSTAR for massive damage or more defensive plays into an almost perfect storm. Giratina VSTAR provides the deck with a massive damage option at the cost of 2 energy into a loss zone, but it's fantastic to start any price race where the 200 from Phantom Dive isn't enough. And though Kudra isn't being included in the deck anymore, it was also very useful to prevent KOs on your difficult to power up Regidrago. Another key attacker for the deck is Radiant Charizard, providing a high damage output single price option that a lot of decks have a hard time handling and forces more out of your opponent if they want to follow a traditional 2-2-2 price map. 250 damage is nothing to scoff at, and it can take down many key Pokemon in the format for a single fire energy, and that can be devastating in the late game with Iono. The final piece of the puzzle for Regidrago was Current from Shrouded Fable. Allowing it to do 110 damage to 3 different Pokemon is arguably just as threatening as the combination of Radiant Greninja or Greninja EX plus Dusknoir that Palkia has access to. This meant Regidrago was the most powerful deck heading into the World Championships, where maybe it could have won. However, it did just recently win the Lille Regional Championships featuring almost the same concept and Pokemon at Worlds, except it now features a 1-1 knockdown line. The Jewel Seeker ability lets the deck have more direct search for crucial pieces, especially the hard to find energy switches, which are the most important to ensure you can power up your Regidrago continually and start attacking with it as soon as possible. Finding Prime Catcher or a well-timed Stadium, Switch, or even canceling Cologne can be very crucial. So Noctowl rounded out an already powerful and consistent deck, and even though it had come close with top 8s and top 4s, it was finally able to achieve a well-deserved win. And we haven't even touched upon Regidrago VSTAR's ability yet, Apex Dragon. Discarding the top 7 cards can be harsh, but recovering any 2 cards afterwards is arguably broken. Being able to effectively have 2 ace specs in some games, recycling key one-offs like Jamming Tower or Temple of Sinnoh, or simply finding the 2 key pieces you needed to get going and start attacking and pressuring your opponent. The versatility of this VSTAR power is amazing, and it's the other half of why Regidrago VSTAR is so good at this point in time. Now, I will say, its Raging Bolt matchup is atrocious, and it takes a lot of skill and a little bit of luck to really have a chance against it. And with Raging Bolt continually being the most popular deck at every event in the Stellar Crown format, and things likely staying the same with Surging Sparks, you do need to dodge this matchup as much as possible in order to have the best chance at being successful with the deck. So what do you think about these 3 decks? Will Palkia get a win to match Lugia's Joinville and Regidrago's Lille wins? Will Regidrago or Lugia continue to put up these good results, or will people try to hard counter them more than before given their success? I hope this video has been useful for you, and make sure you stay tuned and subscribe for more content about the best decks, cards, and tournaments in the Pokemon TCG. Thanks for watching, and until next time. If you want to support the channel, you can use code tablemon to get 5% off at Potan Store for your online codes, 10% off for your sealed product at Flipside Gaming, and 10% off on your aluminum accessories at TC Evolutions. Or if you're looking to buy singles or sleeves, you can fill up your cart and close the tab, then click on the affiliate link in the description and check out. That way you can support the channel over at TCG Player, Card Market, and Dragon Shield. ¿Eres de México y necesitas cartas de Pokémon? Busca Hyper Beam Cards en Facebook e Instagram. Y si estás en Tijuana, búscalos en el local C27 en el Centro Comercial Otay.